and back at it again. What a day! What a series! I don't know how to talk about what words I need to find for the last game, but maybe my precious color cast has some words about the last game. Quincy, how would you describe the last game?
No. I also I don't have words for this one. I mean, what
But
can
I
I really,
hoped you do.
what can I really say? They started the game off a very clean set of stuff. They played better than game one, and then they just refused to reward themselves. Kind of shredded, really just shredding himself this game. Just he made the enemy Trundle jungle go 0-3 in the early game, and then he just kind of went for invade after invade. I mean, remember this play where they traded like. When they had 2 drakes, they traded this 1 drake to the enemy team to get the Baron. With the Baron, they get absolutely nothing. And this just slowly made PERTINAX Esports come back into the game and ultimately made them win the game. So now you could be up to 0. You didn't want to do that apparently, and now it's in a 1-1 position. Gotta say so, same side selections, so they aren't changing the, in theory, winning formula, and I think that's the right call. If you just get a similar to the same draft again on a set of Rift Sloth, I think you're still very happy.
Yeah, maybe the Rift Sloths find their way back into the cleanliness they had before. Let's see. We will experience the third draft of today, and I actually expected the Rift Sloths to win the second game, but that interrupts their winning spree throughout the bracket phase.
And also the first adaptation in draft. The Ari gets taken out, so Merlin cannot play that anymore. You didn't like the pick
Merlin
in general,
was
right?
more than clean.
yeah, Merlin absolutely demanded the respect that we did not give him from the draft to the first few minutes of the game. Absolutely. And also Xayah being taken away. Mr. HB, right? I mean, he was in a position where he played it in both games. Actually, I think individually he wasn't even the better AD carry last game, but the Xayah overall still is a very scary prospect. Later teammates also played very well on his side, just gotta give him some credit over there. And I think the ban also makes sense in that regard. Greason just wants to play Nautilus, and Nautilus in general is not really good into Xayah, so it just makes him more comfortable to just pick Nautilus over and over again and actually just have very good impact in the game, because it kind of fell flat in the last one.
Yeah, but the bans for PERTINAX Esports, they stay the same. They still don't take out the Renekton. I mean, last game the Renekton hasn't really been the breaking point, if you ask me. Renekton, I mean, he was fine, of course. He was more than good. Yet still, I think he wasn't enough to actually carry the game, which what we have been seeing the last game. Let's see what PERTINAX Esports will now pick into Xin Zhao again. And you've said it last game, where you've been like, yeah, I feel like Xin Zhao is more useless, is even worse than Sejuani on top lane. And I agreed with you, and I'm still agreeing with you. So I think that Xin Zhao is actually not the pick you want to see here. Yet still PERTINAX Esports looks in the Trundle, which has been picked last game as well. And that has been insane. I feel like the Trundle pick was actually a very nice addition to the team.
I think that's a bit of a misleading thing, because the Xin Zhao in general, he still stomped the early game, right? I mean, if this throw doesn't happen, the Xin Zhao would look like an absolutely awesome pick, and the Trundle would look like an absolutely clueless pick. So I gotta hold my horse on this one for now. I don't think the Xin Zhao is very bad, or the Trundle is like absolutely insane, but I think the Trundle is definitely a better answer than what we have seen in the first game from PERTINAX Esports. I don't even remember what jungler they really picked there.
Vi.
They picked Vi, okay?
Yeah, they picked Vi.
And also Ashe has been banned second rotation a lot, now it's on the set of PERTINAX Esports. I remember Greason was playing one Ashe support game, that was like half a year ago, when it was actually a pick. And the Renekton, of course, it will come out again. I mean, no way around it. And it will be, yeah, Nautilus now, and now they will play Renekton. And PERTINAX, regardless of what we think of the results, no Sejuani again, unless you actually go Sejuani jungle, Trundle top lane, which I think could also work out. Because Trundle is good into Renekton and into Xin Zhao.
I feel like actually Sejuani jungle might be a good call here. It depends. It depends on the mid lane picks, because maybe with Glacial Prison we might see a nice engage angle here for PERTINAX Esports. So if they go for Sejuani jungle, it is definitely better than Sejuani top lane. I feel like there are stronger jungles currently, which you might want to pick. But if you go for Sejuani, that might be more than just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And now let's wait and see what their answer will be. I mean, if they have a different answer for the top 10, they can just pick it super late, right? I mean, we haven't really seen the reveal of the champion pool from the side of PERTINAX Esports, but this Alistar tells me one thing. They actually by now accepted the fact that the Sejuani top lane isn't good. And this could be very scary for Riftsloth, for sure. Otherwise, it would have been Sejuani right here, right? So, now let's wait and see what the ban phase really brings out. I think he could ban away the Varus from the side of Alice because he might just look too comfortable on the pick. But for now, of course, they just ban away something that worked for Bikan, and that was the Silas. They could also just ban the LeBlanc because the LeBlanc, while losing the game, it kind of looked fine in the game itself, right? The pick was not the reason why they lost whatsoever.
Sejuani ban, what do you think of that?
I hate it, absolutely. I mean, you're just kind of doing them a favor with this one because they now cannot even accidentally pick it.
Yeah, that might not be the best pick here. So, yes. LeBlanc is now being banned. I don't feel like that ban is that good because LeBlanc wasn't really good the last game. So you could have let Bakan just pick it. It depends on what PERTINAX Esports would have had to answer here because they were not able to pick the Ari here because it was first ban. So we see now Riftsloth, they do have mad respect of Merlin's Ari. And I think this is more than reasonable.
And we banned the Akali instead of Riftsloth, so I think we are preparing either a Victor or a Syndra for the side of Bikan now. And Aatrox got left through, oh my god. And you could have banned the Aatrox instead of Sejuani. I just now want to say it, because, I mean, we have seen Redecken for the Sejuani twice, and we kind of don't talk about anything else anymore. And Aatrox with the Dustblade on the current patch is super scary. If he doesn't lose lane 2 hot to the Redecken, he will just absolutely demolish him once he gets like his item power spikes with the Dustblade plus Cyrilda's Grudge even. He gets one takedown in the fight, he is permanently basically in the World Ender ult form and can just chop down on the enemy champions, just heal back to full as long as he hits like one sweet spot on the Q. Said it. One control match for Bakan. Victor, as the Ari was banned away on their side, and now one AD carry option will just be the Varus again, right? I mean, why would it not be Varus?
I think Varus is totally fine. They are currently pre-hovering the MF here. I don't know if MF is the best call here, but I wouldn't.
It's kind of hard because the pillar can just
wouldn't
screw around the bullet time.
I
think it makes sense in the Riyadh that they don't play into Braum anymore, which was the case in game 1. So I think in that regard the bullet time is stronger, but the Pillar of Ice from Trundle, that alone can just absolutely ruin Misfortune's day.
Yeah, but we went for Misfortune. I don't know why you would do that. Due to the fact that Misfortune, as you said, the ultimate of her is just interruptible with that pillar, so not the call I expected here. I think Varus would have been a better option, or I think everything else than MF would have been better.
Nah, I wouldn't really go so far. I mean, MF is still a fine pick in general. Like, just
Kai'Sa?
pick any.
Why wouldn't you go for Kai'Sa here?
Kai'Sa doesn't have priority against Ashe in the early game, and MF with the Naked Brain can at least somewhat contest it. And MF is very good if you don't really play around bot lane, because she will just hit her one item power spike and will just be the bull time bot anyway, and just demand some attention. I mean, of course, if she gets pillared, then at least then she demands a pillar from the side of Trundle, and you can't just pillar someone else and just maybe screw around the Victor with that one. So that's also like a small W in that regard. If he really wants to look at it like this, and yeah, if you pick Kai'Sa, I mean, it is a very strong pick on the patch, absolutely sure. But I mean, you also need to have like some early game agency on their side, and they probably just want to go for the comfort pick on the side of Alice. Gotta say, Kai'Sa is also comfort, but MF is safer in the early game, so they go with this one.
That is a reason for sure. Yes. I think I see why you want to go for Misfortune now. I don't know what would you think is a better pick than Misfortune here? Or do you think Misfortune is the ideal AD carry?
Just pick Varus again. It was fine in both games.
I mean,
the thing with Varus also, you can decide mid-game which item build you go. You just pick a general wound that's not really awful, and then you can just decide mid-game if the game is going well. Do we go Pote? Do we go Crit? Do we go on it? Do we go Static? I mean, one Varus item build out of the 27 Varus item builds will be good, right?
Yeah, I think Varus would have been probably the better option here as well. Yes. Ashe, Mr. HB went for a ghost. Nothing out of the extraordinary here. So, yeah, I feel like bot lane might be something we would like to get a look into, especially considering that we have Leolas again on Alistar. So we might see some juicy engages here, especially paired with that Enchanted Crystal arrow, which Mr. HB might be able to throw here, or we might see the next arrow running towards north. Yes, I don't know. For top lane, I'm really excited about top lane actually, because Aatrox versus Renekton, this might be something which is really tough for Lex here. I'm still not sure if Lex is just the better mechanical player here. So let's see how
Good point.
that evolves.
He will show that in this game if he is or not, because in the early game, Aatrox actually has a more rough time than Sejuani even has. And I mean, we harp on Sejuani pick over and over, but the thing with Aatrox actually is, he is brutally outscaling the Renekton in the mid to late game. If you see him being this damage god, and if you don't really watch him, he just kills everyone and just heals himself back up to full over and over again. But the early game is super hard to play for Aatrox actually. It's a skill matchup that is decently Renekton favored, and I mean, if Lex is the better top laner, he will just destroy the Aatrox before he even gets online, and then
He should.
it could be a very quick affair. And this might also be the reason why they actually ended up banning the Sejuani and not the Aatrox, because they were like confident in their early game abilities.
Definitely. I don't know how I feel about those mid lanes actually. I love the Victor player. I feel Syndra is more safe because Syndra is easier to execute, in my opinion at least.
On high level it's a bit different, I think, and those champions, however, since Syndra got soft reworked, they are like kind of doing the same thing. Syndra is not a lane bully anymore, she's a scaling mid laner by now. She also collects like her own splinters to really get his spells upgraded. And what does Victor do? He collects his Glow's evolution stacks to get his spells upgraded. They are very, very similar in that regard, kind of like having a scaling component that is completely regardless of the gold that those champions really possess. It's very interesting in my opinion. And I think Victor, he has like these kind of perks that he can somewhat side lane for immobile mage, which is very impressive for him, and he has very good zone control. And Syndra, she just has more just war damage output for a single target, which is like kind of her perk in this situation. I think if you just fight in large river fights or something, I think Victor had the upper hand later on.
Yeah, Victor might be more advantageous, especially with ultimate.
Or just the gravity field. Just the basic ability to just have a huge zone where Trundle just can't step through, because that's one weakness of Trundle, right? I mean, aside from his flash, he doesn't really have a direct dash or anything to really cover distance. He has to straight up walk towards you, and the gravity field, it just really stops him literally in his path.
Yeah, we are about to find out about those picks with the third game of SLOTHS versus PERTINAX ESPORTS in the ESLOL promotion bracket.
Sorry to interrupt you already on this one. As we see, both mid laners are very confident in themselves. They both go first strike, and this is something that usually shouldn't happen, because this just means that both are confident that they will just use their range to the fullest there and just be the one who start the trades off, because the one who's second in those first strike trades just doesn't get the first strike benefits, and this is both relevant in damage and in gold generation. So this could be a very volatile mid lane all of a sudden, despite those being very scaling picks.
Definitely, yeah. I don't know how I feel about first strike on Syndra here, because I feel like I think I don't know if I would like something like Dark Harvest more. I don't know. I'm not the Syndra player, so I'm not as educated about Syndra as I probably should be.
I'm not either. I think they usually go something like Airy or Comet, or some go... No, actually not Comet, that sounds wrong. I think I have seen some Airy Syndras, and some that go like Electrocute to just have the full combo.
Yes, Electrocute was in my mind, not Dark Harvest.
Dark Harvest is too much on the scaling side. It sounds like something you would go in ARAM.
Yeah, I meant Electrocute. I'm just silly sometimes.
It's okay. Like with our half knowledge combined, we just get the full knowledge, right?
Yes, definitely.
You know which color of the wound tree, and I knew the names of the wounds.
Yes, I mean both of us we are like half a Syndra player, so together we are a full Syndra player here. So.
Something like this. I gotta tell you, like, who really outranges whom in the mid lanes is really interesting, because I think once Syndra just has QE combination, like the scatter of the weak, I think it's very hard for Victor actually.
Yeah, but look at that. But Grizzn is so greedy. He just wants to get into that, and as we see now, this is just not the thing you want to do. But because look at Mr. HP. I mean, he used Flash. I think the Flash was a bit overkill. He could have just went with Ghost and probably would have won that still. And now look at that. That's what we meant. Like early game Aatrox top lane against Renekton. He just gets destroyed.
And I was telling you, it's not just Renekton dominance, it's also Lex dominance. He is also just a very good top laner compared to the opposition, and so far it's definitely paying off. Bot lane, not looking too hot for the side of Riftsloth so far, but top lane definitely does. Aatrox very harshly losing this trade. The wave will push towards his turret, so he will still pick up a lot of those CS likely, because there's nobody to really dive him, and Macula being there for potential cover-up. But still, it definitely is obvious how much Renekton can dominate this matchup in the early game.
Yeah, I don't even know if Makala is actually able to win V1 V2, to win V2 V1 with JJS while him being so low.
Yeah, I mean, I think they probably can. I mean, Renekton, of course, is a 1v2 monster in general, but not at like level 3, so I think he won't really be able to turn this one. And Shredded does Shredded things again.
Yeah, Shredded, he just gets onto mid lane again with the mid lane gank nobody would have expected, and now we see Merlin being taken on here by Bakan.
Yeah, and that's the first kill for Victor, and for Victor this is super huge, because the Glow's Evolution passive, I mean, I need to get a bit more of a deep dive on this one, right? For every takedown, that means kill or assist, you get 25 stacks for the passive. For every 100 stacks, you can upgrade one ability, and if you have 300 stacks, you upgrade every ability. so
yeah, let's go, brr.
That's super juicy. Like, that's why trading 1-for-1 against Victor in general is a very bad idea, especially early on. And this time it's actually Victor getting the first blood, so it's also a lot of gold as well. He's definitely accelerated from this one.
No, he didn't get the first blood.
He did. Victor has the kill.
Mr. HP got the first blood.
Oh, you're right. Not the first blood, but he got kill gold.
The first blood on mid. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I stand corrected.
I see what you mean. Yeah, yes, of course. And now again, Shredded things. Makala joins the party, and we see Makala actually doing a decent job using his pillar at the right time. And now Shredded has to disengage the situation. And still, Lex is joining the party. And now we see that they try to kind of get Makala down. He just doesn't get it. Look at Makala, he's undying it still. He had to get down. And Lex now has to disengage the situation. Yet still, he got his return kill, which I think it's not really worth for the Rift loss, because Lex will definitely win the lane, even without having that kill.
Yeah, kind of a bad situation on that one. And Shredded, yeah, now falling down, but it is a kill for Lex, and that's super worth, because he was winning the lane anyway. Now he can snowball even further against the Aatrox here. And I mean, Shredded, we saw the last game, right? He falls off anyway in the Xinjiao. Him being the sacrificial lamp for his own laner is definitely something that he can make use of, or just use to really accelerate his team in general.
Look at that, the supports, they have the same thing in mind. Let's gank mid lane. And now we see again Lex being the absolute giga chat here on top lane with Shred joining the party, and they want to get that kill on JJS and maybe make Lex snowball even harder here. Now JJS, he needs to be very smart about what he's going to do next, but he is in that situation, he's in that fight, he just can't do anything about that. Slice and Dice gets the kill here for Lex.
Yeah, that's the second one for him, and he's already up a huge amount of CS, but this will be a very huge rift that will also go into the turret. And also, like, no TP on JJS, so he's absolutely screwed right now in the top lane, and good luck recovering that lane. I mean, on Sejuani, like, while we played Sejuani a lot, she was at least, like, tanky. She wasn't getting absolutely screwed around. This Aatrox is super squishy and behind. He can get one combo all the time, if Lex can really snowball this one. And so far, he could. Ouch.
Just look at the CS difference. Oh no.
And Shredded is also there. He can't even watch this minion die. He's so down in the XP as well. He's a full level down now.
Yeah, there's no chance that JJS is coming back within the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, maybe let's check again in 20 minutes or something. Maybe then he is a champion when he is like Dustblade, while Lex and Renekton has like Shojin and Godwinker and the Steel Caps, and yeah, then we can see if he maybe can fight, and he probably will not be able to, let's be honest. Either way, speaking of the bot lane, which was a disaster initially, in CS at least, Alice kind of came back. Like, we know he's the assistant coach filling in. He got kind of humiliated level 1 together with his support, with Griezmann being there. And now, I mean, in CS at least they're back to even, so it's not the end of the world compared to what's happening on top lane.
Yeah, that's true. I think they do the best to just make use of their comp here. But I think with Alice being level 6, we might actually see a situation. I think actually they got misfortune most likely for the wave clear. I don't feel like they used her to execute like
Yeah, that's why I think
huge
the
amount of
pick is
damage.
not bad. It's comfort for Alice, and you don't have to strong side her. You can
Like-
just make her be misfortune and chill on bot lane.
Like-
Just make it way in the wave, let the bullet time the wave, or just bullet time in the team fight a little bit. Force the pillar from Trundle, and then just use all the jungle attention from Shredded for Victor and Renekton. And I mean, Victor gets his stacks, and Renekton gets whatever the hell his lead over the top there is. He is doubling the Atox still.
Yes, definitely. But you get what I mean with the wave clear thingy? Like I mean like focused on early to mid game with the ultimate, so that the enemy bot lane just does not get the turret platings.
Yeah,
If that makes any
is right.
sense.
It does.
Okay.
Also a more broad point about this. Victor, while being a wave clear champion, before he has his death ray, his E upgrade, he is not that good as of a wave clear champion actually, because he cannot really fully clear the wave with one rotation, and that takes a while for him to get online. And just having another champion that can wave clear is definitely a good option. And just now it's the offensive wave clear version, just straight up ult the wave. And now you see how desperate they are. Like they lane swap this one. They lane swap the bot lane into Lex.
Yeah, and now look at that, Lex being headbutted into the enemy. Setsi goes into the ultimate, and he may be trying to get a kill here, but he's not able to because look at the slow Mr. HB is dealing. This is more than insane, and it's so important for PERTINAX Esports.
And I gotta say, while it was a desperate measure, it was a good measure. Getting Lex down, getting a kill onto the Ashe, I think it also was a shotgun, right? I mean, Lex probably was very fat in this situation. It's just now not equal to the goal whatsoever for them, but definitely pulling some pressure away from them. And just now see JJS moving towards this Herald area, but this Herald will be gone. Riftbuff will secure this Herald for sure. But Alice, are you really fine
I'm not
there?
really sure about that. I'm not really sure about that. The volley just stole that. Herald, look at that. And now PERTINAX Esports is demolishing the Rift Sloths.
I have no explanation for that one. I mean, the volley is not allowed to steal a Rift Herald. I mean, and also, not only that, right? The Rift Herald is of course very bad to get stolen away, but they also lose the fight in the meantime, right? Because Alice actually was hugging the Atox. So much attention focused on him to be behind, and now he at least gets 2 assists, right? A kill for the Syndra, also she's very happy about it, getting splinters. And Trundle, I mean, we saw him last game, but the full damage Trundle was absolutely, demolishing the backline at some point as he was getting towards this Triforce Trojan power spike. And he's getting closer to that one. And now Riftstop, after a very good early game planned execution yet again, they fumble. And this could be PERTINAX Esports at the underdog, getting a second win here.
I feel, but what is the breaking point here for the Rift Sloths? I mean, they've been so clean throughout the whole tournament, and now they are not able to perform against PERTINAX Esports.
Now that's an interesting question actually here.
Maybe is it the lack of Ardefla? Maybe it's Ardefla who is the big win condition for them.
I think that's too easy of an answer, because Alice in general is performing fine. I mean, just now this last situation, he didn't really look too good, don't get me wrong, but overall, we saw more than 2 games by now, more than an hour of gameplay. In general, he plays more than okay. You can't really blame it on this one alone.
I didn't mean he's bad at the game or anything like that.
Yeah,
That's not what I wanted to say.
I think the team also just can't put this as an excuse, because Shredded has thrown last game. There's no way to sugarcoat it. And the rest of the team kind of followed through. Bekan also was not the better mid lane in that game as well. And this game, I mean, they do so much to get Lex a lead, to get Bekan a lead, and now it all kind of crumbles yet again. Shredded also should not be allowed. He plays mechanically very, very well, right? I mean, we have seen him getting this funnel down to 0-3 last game. And he just gets his Herald stolen by a volley. This should never happen. Like, he just doesn't reward himself while he's actually a good player. And all those tiny mistakes just add up, and PERTINAX Esports just punishes them greatly for now.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't smite here. Maybe he didn't have smite. I haven't seen it, to be honest, that he if he had smite or not.
I mean, if he doesn't have smite, then they shouldn't go for this in the first place. And also, more important for the Herald securing is actually like the eye of the Rift Herald itself and poking this one down. And you should have control over that one if you are a quality team to some extent. A volley should not be able to steal it.
Well, look at that. We might experience a dive here. We see Lex now poking his TP. He wants to go bot lane here to save his laners.
It's not a good
and
TP.
we're seeing him going inside with Lex being headbutted into the whole enemy team. He uses the ultimate. It's not enough because Merlin is there to get a hold of the situation. Yet still, the jungle and bot lane join the party, but they are not able to defuse the situation in any way. And now, we might see PERTINAX Esports trying to get a hold Off that turret. No, they
that
re-engage, but Makala is so low, and Bakan flashes over the wall, tries to get him. Look at that, JTS now being taken out by Elise, but Mr. HB in the backline trying to get a hold of Grizzin, and he is able to get him down, like at a decent amount of HP. It's still...
Bakan a little bit choking, gotta be honest. If you flash over the wall, you need to get this kill into Makala over there as well. Like, this is, again, a kill for the Victor, 25 stacks more for him. He actually got one in general of the assist that the overstep from PTX was really forcing there. And we see really both teams having jitters over there. I think PTX didn't really expect to get this far. And with SLOTHS, yeah, also didn't expect to get this far in a different kind of perspective, I just gotta say. And now, back to your question from beforehand. I think the game is still fine for SLOTHS, and they really need to rely on Bakan in these team fights, because he on this Victor can still do so much. I mean, he should be around to complete his second upgrade very, very soon. He's on 128, plus 50 from the takedowns, plus for the cannons he gets a little bit more, so he should be around 200 stacks. And if he gets the 300 mark before the Syndra really gets her upgrades going, then you have a much bigger mid lane presence than the enemy team.
Oh no, the flash of Leoles trying to push into the tower, and he's able to look at that mistake. We are killing spree against Grizz, and Shredded is so low, he is not able to do anything about that. Oh, if Mr. HP would have had that Enchanted Crystal Arrow, that would have been it for Elise.
And regardless of that, it's still a very good push by the side of PTX, but they can rush down this turret. Oh, now it is the first turret of the game, and PTX, they got the first Drake, they got the second Drake, they got the first Herald, and also the first turret by now. They are up in gold in general as well. It's looking very, very smooth sailing for them. They kind of need to fix their top lane situation a little bit, but it is the Aatrox fight. Actually, this Aatrox got pushed down so far behind that he doesn't go to the Felty item build, and will opt out for the God Drinker himself when he eventually finishes this run. So there's at least that small silver lining for the side of SLOTHS. But yeah, definitely, overall, not the game that SLOTHS expected it to be.
Yeah, I feel like the SLOTHS might want to consider. Yes, they did. I derped. Sorry, but we see now a big gank on top lane. Look at that, Lex being pressured here, and TPs are falling down off the SLOTHS with Bakan joining the party. Look at Makala, he's now being taken down with Mr. HB being really, really low, but they now have to be cautious of that. He's burning, he might, and he's
so huge!
He fell to Leandries. Look at that with Chris, and with that hook is unbelievable. Merlin is being taken down by Elise, and now they just take the turret, try to get a hold of that cow, and he's still able to get a return kill. But in the end, Elise is there to save the day for the SLOTHS. Look at that with them taking the first turret off top lane.
That was such a huge turn. Starting off with this Leandris burn, just barely get the shutdown on towards Mr. HB. So much gold into the side of Bakan. And also, it was 3 takedowns for him this fight. I mean, him dying worth was actually super okay for him. And he should be very close to these 306 I mentioned earlier. I mean, it's 146 plus 5 takedowns. Yeah, that's a bit less than the 300 itself, but he also got some cannon minions, so he could maybe be already fully upgraded. Maybe observers can at some point just hover over the Victor, then we can get a closer look on this situation. And now also the gold lead back in the favor of SLOTHS. Of course, not by that much, but I mean, you take anything at this point.
Yeah, I think they actually need to, kind of. Because they want to definitely build up a small lead here. Especially with Bakan, he wants to get as much kill participation as he can, as you've said before, for his augments here. So the Victor is unstoppable. Because the damage he deals is insane.
I mean, we can't really write too much home about it for now, because I mean the Syndra is also like a late game monster I addressed it earlier, and she is of course not fully splintered, but I mean it's just what I was getting to earlier, which is that you just now have this very strong mid laner, but the enemy just doesn't, and now you can start to fort things. It's almost 70 minutes into the game, it's this Herald push now, you gave away the Drake, but it's a Cloud Drake, so it's not the end of the world. If it just stays like that, you can probably live with that one, and probably by the time the Baron spawns, the Syndra won't be yet fully online, while the Victor absolutely is, and if you just force a good Baron fight over there, SLOTHS can absolutely win this game.
Yeah, definitely. It's I mean, let's see. I don't know. Maybe they get hold of the Baron, which is supposed to spawn in 2.5 minutes, more than 2.5 minutes. Ah no.
Yeah, a bit more than 2.5 minutes, and we just saw top lane T2 turret being taken. Also, considering the map control, it's somewhat close to the Baron, so it definitely also matters if you just drop down this. The most important map control turret is of course the mid lane outer turret, so that one being able to be cracked is of course something for the future that could be very important in general. There's now Leolas, we see him clearing some vision around the Baron area. Gotta say though, Cloud Drake's soul point also remotely scary for PERTINAX Esports because Cloud Soul is far from weak, I just gotta say, especially for Trundle. He's very fast in general already, and him having a Cloud Soul would make him go absolutely insane. And you can't really do much against that one. Cloud Soul has the highest win rate in solo queue of all the souls, right? Of course, doesn't mean much for competitive in general, but it gets kind of criticized because it doesn't give direct combat stats. I mean, but it's also like virtually a bit of attack speed for every AD carry, especially for something like an Ashe, right? You just cover more distance between your auto attack shots, so you actually end up effectively firing off more.
Yeah, he would just go deja vu mode here.
I mean, like game 2 or like game 1?
I feel like game 2 will look at that Shredded is being embedded into his own jungle. The entire crystal arrow is not hitting anything, and yeah, he just goes. He just gets away with that. That Ashe arrow has been so important.
Yeah. Crown is commit, so some haters would say, but no, this was actually kind of being very important as the engaged tool, and we also see why Ashe was banned in some of these last games, right? I mean, ironically it was actually PTX banning it, maybe respecting Greason being on this pick. I mean, Ashe support kind of falling out of favor. Would have been a very strong pick for Alice maybe. And Alice on this misfortune yet again, right? Not really being played one, but he is 3 kills, very up in the juice for now, and he's on the Ghost Blade plus Collector Power spike, which could fall off a cliff super late on, but it's super strong in the mid game right now, and in this mid game, this is the point anyway where Riftsoft will want to really break this game open. I said it before, right? Potentially with a Baron setup, with the Victor being very strong, the Syndra not so much, but also in the AD carry position, you can say similar things. Actually, right now PTX is kind of at the mercy of Riftsoft, because they just kind of hope that they can't really force anything. All the lanes are really behind on their side, only Trundle's really up against Xin Zhao, and that alone probably won't make the cut.
Yeah, it just seems like Rift Sloths, they definitely need that first turret. They definitely need it. Vanash is about to come up in 5 seconds, and if they get that turret, maybe one pick, I think they will actually be able to do Vanash.
Yeah, could be very, very easily done. Regardless of that though, as long as Makula is not that pick, he's a somewhat tanky Trundle with a flash up and also potentially the blast plant being there in the Baron pit. So you can't really flip the Baron, it's super risky. Assuming you just rush the Baron and Makula steals this one, it's very smooth sailing for PTX actually, because they would then win some minutes to just get their scaling game going on. The Aatrox eventually will be very strong compared to the Lexington, regardless of the item build he goes for. The Syndra will match the Victor then, and the Ashe will be around the strongest in Misfortune at least, I just gotta say. In the damage department, well, maybe not that much, but she just provides so much utility with these Hawk shots, with these Frost shots, with these Enchanted Crystal Arrows especially. So you definitely need to play it right on the side of Rift Sloth, but I am confident in saying that they absolutely have it within them. They just need to really do it the disciplined way, then they can do it.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. They're going to a 1v1 maybe. I don't know. I don't think they get this tower. I don't think they will be able to.
The bot lane turret they maybe can get, because the Renekton actually beats the Aatrox, and I said it before in the draft, but the Victor can somewhat side lane, while the Syndra really struggles too. So actually 1v1 might be a good option for them, at least for a while, to really get some pressure against PTX, and at least force down this bot lane T1 turret. And Drake is now soon to be spawning though, so at this point we might see a team fight for the side of both those teams. And if PTX wins another team fight, I mean, the Soul is a very scary prospect in general.
Yeah, I mean, PTX has soul point here, and Riftsoft, they do know the Enchanted Crystal Arrow finds us.
The bullet time!
Here he tries. Look at the backline. Look at the backline. Look at that. And Mr. HP gets Grisen down here, and this is horrible for the Riftsoft. And they now need to fight for that dragon. They definitely need that, and it's so ironic for them that they start the fight and just lose it.
They can maybe still post around it, but Trundle's already on the Drake. I think Riftsoft, they have a very good HP bar advantage. They could still, in a 4v5, just at least threaten to collapse onto its Drake. And I think PTX needs to respect it to some way. And here we see it, right? This thing is not done yet.
Yeah, it's not over yet. The dragon is still being made. It's almost half life. Let's see. Maybe Shred is able to get an angle on here, but Lex is not able to find his way into a backline. Now we just need to drop the dragon because it's too dangerous to get inside of the situation here.
Yeah, this is the Cloud Soul going over to PTX, so the threat from the side of Rift was not enough, ultimately. Didn't need to be respected that much yet again. And Dominus to next, of course, timing out was very crucial to that one. As now they just start a little bit of a desperate attempt at this mid lane T1 turret. So far not much getting out of it. Oh no. This is not looking too good for the side of Rift Sloth, for sure.
It's not looking like they get a hang of it.
Definitely isn't.
But what would we need to do to flip the game here? Oh, look at that pig! They get onto Mr. HP and he has to flash out. Slice and dice is not enough for him to be dead.
Lex is...
Lex call! You get in! He called! He's catching him. And now look at that. The Rift Sloths are able to flip the fight here. Makala needs to be the happy feet guy because he needs to dodge anything. It's still Alice on a rampage because look at that bullet time, which was insane. Leodas now flashing the headbutt onto Shredded. It's insane, but it's not enough to do anything here. And that might be actually the turret, the T1 turret for the Rift Sloths.
That might be Baron. The jungler's down, they get a pick onto Leolas with the Delandris. And Shredded can heal up in the Pokemon Center, which is every jungle camp in 2023. So they can absolutely start this Baron off, and only Syndra could poke them out of there, but Syndra can't really face check the vision over there. So this will be the Baron for the Rift, and they just won this mid lane fight off of the back of Lex, just pulling out the Dominus and just mowing down the face of the Ashe.
Man, this is more of an insane play, and they needed that so bad, and now they have an Ashe. Maybe they will be able to find a turret here, and they have to find at least the bot lane turret.
Yeah, I mean, we can speak about Barons a bit more, right? I mean, last game we weren't really too overwhelmed by the Baron power plays. Maybe this game it will finally work. I mean, you're focusing more on the mid lane T1 turret, I was focusing more on the Baron. But I mean, one should ideally lead to the other. And I think with this competition, I mean, they were already 1v1ing before the Baron. Now they have the Baron and still should be very strong in the regard of the 1v1. And I was gonna say, I think the Syndra is about to be fully online, but still not quite. So this is not now is a time where Rift Sloths really need to bite. They really need to break this game open and make it a game where, while PTX scales very well, they don't really get their scaling going.
Yeah, at least the Rift Sloths are not taking advantage of that Baron, but look at that, look into the bot side jungle, look what is coming up to Lex. There is a force of the dragons, and now he's stalling. He tries to kind of get some time here, gets his hold onto Mr. HP, yet still this Ashe is not about to be killed, and Makala gets his kill here, yet still Rift Sloths are trying to get a hold of that T2 turret after they got the T1 at first, and look at that, Grizzen is able to hold back JJ as and Makala is a bit too, like, Grizzen will be falling down here, but this is absolutely worth for the Rift Sloths.
I'm a bit underwhelmed still, I gotta say, because they need to trade 2 kills to get 2 turrets. I mean, with Baron, it's still kind of fine, and Lex wasn't giving a shutdown anyway, and the support is kind of whatever, let's be honest. No offense to support players. If it just keeps like this, it's probably fine that they don't get hit by the Ashe arrow. So the Baron is also still going for a while, and there's still like a tier 2 turret in the bot lane to crack. If they get this one with the Baron as well, it should be a good Baron in my opinion. Oh, they TP flank it!
Yeah, there it is. Here's Lex trying to get a hold of Mr. HP, and he does look at that bullet time. It's more than insane. It still is not enough to get a kill here. Shredder gets down Mr. HP, and Makala needs to make a run for it. Yet still JJS is still almost full life, and he will be able to defend his jungle here, and he is. Actually, now Merlin, look at him. He needs to kind of make a run for it. He needs to get out of it. Look at that.
He's screwed. He can't do anything there.
He's so screwed. He's more than just screwed. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh, and dead. Killing spree for Shredded here.
On the upside for PTX, there's nothing really up on the map right now for Rift Sloths to take. It will probably just be this tier 2 turret I mentioned earlier. But on the other side, there was such a great TP flank on the side of Rift Sloths. Probably PTX not expecting this one because of the fact that the objectives are really up, and this might bite Rift Sloths back in the butt because now those TPs won't be up for potential Baron or Elder Drake situation, and the Elder Drakes actually spawned in 90 seconds. But this will now at least cement for the moment a lot of gold, a lot of map control, a lot of vision control for Rift Sloths, and they might translate this over towards this Elder Dragon. Maybe they actually have to do that one. And PTX now on the back foot for the last few minutes. And see these power spikes coming for Rift Sloths, right? Serilda's Grudge now for Alice. And also another Sweated Dirk, so he's definitely very, very lethal. And Bakan, right? Very short of finishing his death cap, which would also be very detrimental to just absolutely one combo. Maybe Merlin, maybe Mr. HP in these fights. And if Mr. HP, we just now saw it in the fight, but if he goes down pretty quickly, PTX just lacks damage overall.
I mean, at least they got, at least the ESLOLs got some towers out of that. Oh my lord, look at that, the bullet time, we hook into bullet time. This is so insane and so important for ESLOLs. And now they try to run down their opponents. Oh, Grizzin. This guy is just a menace on that Nautilus. And he was able to secure 2 kills for his team. And look at that, Early Drake's coming up in half a minute, yet still
No.
might.
They go for the end here. Who's really wave clearing this one? Ash is down, Syndra's down. It's a 5 versus 3. They just run down the base.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Wait, but Ash is coming back. I don't think they can finish it. I don't know. No. I don't feel like they can finish it. They are about to. They might to try, but they are not able to. Look at that. Look at the damage. Look at that damage. There's Mr. HP coming right in. Look at him. He's getting down shredded. Look at that. And he's not having the enchanted crystal arrow, but it's low on CD. He might actually try to get a pick here. Yes. They are chasing after him. Look at that. Bakan is now being taken down. The volley is flying and it gets his skill. Look at that. And he has enchanted crystal arrow. If he wants to get Elise, he will be getting Elise.
And what am I witnessing here? It's just now 4 members falling while they are going for the finishing push. And you were actually correct as one. Ash was respawning soon enough. And now this will very likely be the Elder for PTX. I mean, there's nothing really stopping them from taking this one. And this could be a very huge throw. Right? I was saying it, right? This was now the point of time where they needed to break the game open. They kinda did, but they still really fumble on the finishing execution on this one. And this cost them 2 turrets, 4 kills, and the Elder Drake.
Yeah, this is so unfortunate for the ESLOLs. But Mr. HB came back in time. Mr. HB ex Machina here. And he is saving the day for PERTINAX Esports.
And this game is really on a knife's edge right now. And I just gotta say, with ESLOLs, the way they came back to this game was not through great macro decisions. It was mostly just through good mechanics in those team fights, right? I mean, getting those catches here and there. I mean, of course, some macro plays into it as well. But them just catching out Mr. HB most of the time. And then just really storming them with the Victor. It was mostly just a mechanical diff, if we were really honest. And just very good bullet time aiming from Alice. And also Lex, of course, finding very good target selections in those fights. And that might not be enough. Gold is about to be even. There's Cloud Soul and the Elder on the side of PTX. And PTX, yeah, as long as this Elder is running, they can take every fight they want. Probably just convert this Elder into the Baron. And Rift, really... They really need a miracle this game, maybe.
I mean, they will be definitely trying to get that miracle. But I don't know, as I feel so hard for them. I somehow got a heart for the ESLOLs, yet still I feel like PERTINAX Esports, they do more than just deserve that win here.
They certainly do, but they also need to reward themselves, just as last game with ESLOLs definitely arguably could have been able to. And for now, of course, I mean, now for PTX, right? If they cannot translate this Elder or this Baron into anything, they just have this Cloud Soul in the somewhat well-scaling draft. The Spear of Short Genetics definitely being strong. But they actually got mechanically outplayed basically every team fight. So if ESLOLs can play it patiently and not drop their base, they still have a decent chance in this game. Probably like a 30% chance or something. And it just feels so bad, right? I mean, when they were going for this finishing push, they could have just went for the Elder, for positioning around the Elder, and it would have likely been theirs. And then that is what the difference in patience can really do to you.
Yeah, I mean, they could have just went for Elder Drake. They probably would have gotten that.
The Elder wasn't quite spawning yet, but I mean, you still just can secure all the vision or the map control around it, and it would have been yours. It would have been Elder or just turn for the next fight and then finish the game, but now it looks like it's going a different direction.
Oh, Enchanted Crystal Arrow finds the start onto Grizzin. It's not the best target to get actually. Oh, Bakan, you are so in much danger. Oh no, and he's been taken out, and now Grizzin is also as well low. Lex is TPing into the back line.
He can't go for it. They still have Elder. I mean, you just don't know what Syndra did to them.
If he dares, I don't know what. I don't know how he's going to do that. Look at that bullet time. It's doing its job. It's insane. It's still Makala is being taken down. Oh, look at Lex. Oh, he's being kited. He's being kited. There's no chance for him to win that fight. He's being taken down. And now the rest of PERTINAX Esports is joining the party. Look at Leodas now getting a nice grab onto the ESLOLs with JJS getting his double kill. Oh my lord, Grizzin somehow manages to get his kill on JJS here. Now Leolas is also really low. I don't feel like
Bakan
Rhythm's
responded
going to win
for.
there. Bakan spawning. Maybe.
Too
I
late.
don't feel. No.
And I just gotta say, this sounds very, very salty, but PERTINAX played this fight super, super poorly. I mean, you can hardly play it worse, and they still won because Elder's just that insane. And I mean, just gotta say for the side of Riftsloth, it should have been your Elder. You can't really complain. Like, I mean, if you complain about the Elder, fair enough, but it should have been yours. I mean, yes, Elder's broken, but you gave away Drake after Drake after Drake after Drake. You won the early game yet again. 3 early games, 3 wins for Riftsloth, but they are down 1-2 in the series, and now they need to really get their stuff together.
Yeah, definitely. And let's see how that will go. We are heading again into a small break, and we'll see each other in the next 10 minutes when it gets back into Riftsloths against PERTINAX Esports.